screen. That's where we stopped. Okay, so I'll just again share my screen. So using this type of tool, we created and clone of the image, sorry, a hard disk, and an image of the hard disk, or you can say clone of the hard disk. Now this is an open source tool. There are more similar tools for it also. So you can say FTK imager. And how we solved this case using this FTK imager. So we just created that disk image, or if the computer is on, you can actually capture the memory, like the RAM data, and you can again analyze the data and investigate lots more from it, and also you may get few passwords out of it and everything. I drink water a lot, so excuse me for that. Okay, so we use this tool and we cloned the hard drive. And after cloning the hard drive, uh, we actually analyzed the hard drive using another tool, and I will like to share you uh, that tool also. So the tool's named is Autopsy. Okay. So again, this is one of the tools you can actually look for more tools, similar tools, and you can actually create a case into it and give definitions and names to the case. So what happens basically when you create something, a image into the FTK imager, you get a directory listing into which there is a value of -1. So wherever you find that -1 value, you should understand that that is a deletion value. So if you go on FTK imager and you can install and you can just do it with a flash drive or a mobile or a pen drive, you will actually can do it faster rather than doing it on a hard drive for a practice thing. So we investigated that victim's hard drive, and after investigation, we found that all the data which was deleted priorly. Second, we found the browsing history. So the logs of the router were clear, but the browsing history from the hard drive was retrieved, and we found like how to dispose a body and the type of anti-forensic type of search, like how to use this type of, we can say, material using which the body can be burnt and evidence can be we can say disposed, or everything. Then we found there were two phones which were connected in that night to that computer, and that computer, we got Windows log, what time that computer was on, what time that computer was off, on, off, it was going on, and then there were USBs connected. So that USBs were two phones, out of which one was on the crime scene and one phone was missing. Then after investigating into all this type of matter, police cross questioned his husband, and one of the phone was his own phone, one of the phone was his wife's phone, and actually he found something. The main intention behind this murder, this was not a suicide, this was a murder, clear murder, and the main intention behind it was very clear. It was he has doubted his wife that she has an extramarital affair, and for that the phone was connected to the computer, and all the photos and whatnot was basically crawled. And after doing a successful murder, he was actually clearing of the evidence, like he was formatting the phone and he was doing everything, and that's why he connected the phone. And then he thought that the router may be an evidence, so he cleared that he was a network admin guy. He just cleared the router logs and everything. But using this type of tools, the hard drive was recovered, and all the other details like his browsing histories, cache, and everything was basically retrieved. And after all, like it was proved that he was present that night there and he has done this thing. So there are other evidences rather than this digital evidence also which were in place, and that was not my part, but they also played an important role here. Not always basically this type of tools work because there are chances where when it will go to the court case, so the judiciary system may ask you about the admissibility of the evidence which are collected. So whenever you collect any of this such type of technical evidences, make sure they are not contaminated, they are not we can say they are not manipulated, they are handled in a right manner. The MD5 value, the SHA value should always be as same as you got on the crime scenario, because these are the more major mistakes which people or investigative agencies do on the crime scene. They just take the phones in hand and then they just try to check what is in the phone. So with every click or with we can say every folder, every file which they are opening creates a log, and that's where it happens. At times, there are cases using this FTK imager and autopsy. We have saw that there were allegations on on the law enforcement agencies like police only, that they have manipulated the digital evidence which were collected. So as I just shared you this another case study, the two case studies. This is one more case study where I would like to share you. So there were basically allegations of the police that they have changed the hard drives, or they have manipulated the data into the hard drive. So the data of the hard drives which were taken into the custody few years back are not the same which are produced in the court now, and they have been manipulated. So in that scenario, also we did a third party audit into it, and we gave our report that there is a document in which the date and time is recorded, and the date and time recorded in the document while collecting that digital evidence, and the goal of the investigation was after that date and the recorded date and time, is the hard disk accessed. If the hard disk is accessed, that clearly states that there is some manipulation is done, and that's what our job was. And when we saw that the hard disk was accessed, there were a few things which was in the -1 value, and which was deleted, and then that's where the goal was completed. So again, we have to stop the temptation that what is ahead, and we have to stop at the right time and at the goal. Like our goal is to only investigate this part, because if we attempt to look into different again drives and directories, that may make the job of the another investigator or the next person hard, and that may uh, we can say make the evidence inadmissible in the law of court, and the goal will not be achieved. So that is one of the temptations which we have to avoid. Then I can share you the case study of we can say that there are lots of people who call for we can say sir, you have won a lottery and everything. So one of the case studies which we investigated was really surprising and an eye-opening case study it was. So a victim was getting calls from number +92, starting from +92. Obviously, it is from Pakistan, and he was getting WhatsApp calls, and he was just telling you have won a 25 lakh rupees of lottery, and for that you need to just pay some 5,000 or 10,000 rupees as a processing fee, and then you can just claim this type of amount. And that person at very first instance he paid that amount. Then again the we can say that the person who was a fake person, or we can say the fraudster, was asking more money, like, and more 10,000 for this type of process, more 10,000 for this type of process. By doing this again and again, he just extorted 3.5 lakhs from the victim, and after giving 3.5 lakhs to the victim, the sorry, to the fraudster, the victim ran to the police station and he said, okay, now I have realized that I have been cheated. And now the case was like he was getting calls, and he has transferred money by going physically to the bank and putting cash into the or depositing cash into the another account. Now, how this forensic, or we can say, how the cyber or forensic thing came into the picture is, we did a IP trace. So there are apps like IP logger and IP scanners and everything. So how did we do a IP trace? We created a fake cash deposit slip by informing the nearest bank and everything, with the concern of local police authorities. And we sent it to the fraudster from the victim's phone. Now, fraudster clicked on that image using WhatsApp, and with a link. As soon as he clicked on that, so we got the IP address. And there are very few people using proxy chaining and everything. Now, this lottery scam people, they were actually not using. And we got to know that it was from India or some place in India. I cannot just disclose the name. And the number, even they were calling from +92, which was from Pakistan. But actually, the case was the people were from India, who were communicating with this guy uh, using WhatsApp. And as we got the IP, the one of the police team, basically they went there, and then the appropriate action was taken, because this cash, wherever it was deposited, that cash was withdrawn also at some point. So without any intimation or without any alert, police went and arrested those guys while withdrawing the cash, whatever it was, 3.5 lakhs or anything. And there were other victims also. This was not the only victim for this case. So what happened in that scenario? After the arrest, the police has taken mobile phones of the fraudsters into the custody. So now these fraudsters who were there for withdrawing the cash were not the only people into that gang. There were more people also. The mastermind was a different person. These people were like very poor people. They were given per withdrawal money, and they were sent in the front line so that they can withdraw cash and give it to their we can say suggested or predefined people. What happened in this scenario? We recovered the phones using we can say there are lots of tools, and you can just Google few names: Doctor Phone, Wondershare, then Easus, then we can say GeoSoft, GIHO, Geo, not GIO, GeoSoft. Then there are lots of tools which are available. Using that tools, we just recovered all the data, and it was but obvious that he has collected money from lots of people, like more than 500 receipts we received in that phone, which were deleted. And a surprising thing came into picture, where we got to know that photos of guns, drug samples, and everything was into the we can say into the phone. And this all things were being communicated to a number of +92 you from the phone, which obviously belongs to Pakistan. So ultimately, that case was not only a local police station case now, because So the agenda of this lottery scam. So at the front line, it was a lottery scam, calling people and calling victims and telling them you have won a lottery and collecting this type of money, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and from all over the globe. And this money was being sent to plus 92, that is Pakistan, for we can say purchase of some type of weapons, and because we got the sample photos of weapons and other drug deals details also. So while investigating such cases, these are really interesting. You will never assume, like you will be really surprised. Every case is a different case while investigating. So the data which you analyze is very, very, very important. You cannot ignore any part of the data. And we were really surprised. Okay, this looked like a lottery scam case, but it was not. It was actually a case which was related to terror activities. Then that case was not a local police station case. Then the senior agencies took over the case, and then it was not our part. Then they took it over. So the conclusion of this case is like you can get anything and everything from a person's phone, and actually you can reach to a conclusion unless you look from a different perspective. So if you, we can say, look out of the box, and the tools and techniques and everything is one part, and actually thinking like an investigator, thinking like a hacker is what is important. So this is what I can share you for the today's session, and I am just open for all the questions, or you can just tell me if you want are really interested into other type of case studies which we really worked on. We can continue with that. Over to you, Saurabh ji. Mostly.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Sir, there
yeah,
are
yeah.
some participants who want to
Yes,
ask some questions.
yeah, yeah. Well, welcome. Always welcome. Go ahead.
So whoever has a question may ask now.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Sir, as a forensic, digital forensic investigator, what are the required certifications?
So, see, digital forensics is a we can say very very big industry, and just like prior, there was only one doctor who used to operate your do surgery also, do your dental thing also, do your gynecologist thing also, and neurology thing also. But nowadays, you get doctors who are neurologists, who are dentists, who are skin specialists, and whatnot. So into this digital forensics also. So the basic is what you can start with some free courses on SANS. And if you are looking at it as a serious career, you can start with CHFI type of certifications, that is computer hacking certification. That is, I just have to look at the full form for it. But CHFI, you can go ahead and search. It is from EC Council, and you can go ahead for that type of certification. If you want to go for EC Council, if you don't want to go for EC Council, you can go for SANS type of institute, and you can take the certification. Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator, CHFI. Sorry, I was just not recollecting the full form of it.
Sir, if we had skills of the digital forensic investigator, but we don't had certifications, then how to become a digital forensic investigation cybercrime investigator?
So there are two aspects here. Very good questions you have asked, and so there are people into the industry who don't have any type of certifications, but the skill set which they have are like awesome, and they are we can say experts into their own domain. Uh, so in that scenario, it depends on the you can join with uh, organizations where such type of cases are investigated, and if they are like if they don't have any such criteria of being certified, you can join them. But the disadvantage of not having certification is you cannot we can say give certificates like 65B certificate, which is an we can say certificate which comes under Indian Digital Evidence Act and everything. So if you are certified, you can obviously go ahead for that. If you don't have, you can join organizations and you can work for them, wherein they don't ask you to certify the evidence, but they you can work into their team as a team member. You can just apply, and also it totally depends on the skill set also. So there are people who don't have not done any type of certification, but the skills they have are more than a person who has the certification. So also see, the career perspective are different. You can actually there are people who don't investigate at all, but they create few cases and then they publish it on YouTube, and they create a YouTube channel, or they just create a course about how to investigate hard disk, how to investigate iPhones, how to investigate Android phones, and they sell it that course on Udemy like websites, and Coursera like or Cyber like websites. So also I would like to just connecting that about career when it comes to certification or not a certification. I would just like to give an example. So like if you like photography, or if it's an hobby, you don't go and do a diploma or a degree in photography in some international or national university. You just go on YouTube and or you Google about it and you just gather some tips. So if you are a person who don't want to do career into digital forensic, then just don't go for a university or a degree course or even a certification course. You can just go on Udemy or other YouTube channels to gather information, and then when you are serious about that, you want to do a career into it, then only go for certification, because the cost of the certifications are high. Rather going directly for a certification, I would suggest that join this type of course which Saurabh has organized, where you get a overview about the industry, what are the different types parts of the industry, and then you can decide, okay, I want to go for a specialization in this specific mobile forensics. In mobile also, you want to go for a specialization into Android forensic or iOS forensics. So there are different we can say channels for it.
So can I ask one thing, sir?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, we have recently heard that a Pegasus spyware has came into India. How to detect the virus? How to detect the virus?
Okay. So, majorly it has attacked the iPhone users. So, Amnesty International has published the research reports for the same. I have also written lots of articles. I don't know if I have to permission to put a link here. If I how could I do that? If I want, do I have a chat channel so that I can share with you a document which is literally an in and out about Pegasus? It's a report by the Amnesty International where the victims have submitted, or we can say volunteered their phone for investigations, and the technical part, the simple answer for it is Apple has recently published a CVE number, common vulnerability exploitation. If you update the iOS, we can say you are not vulnerable to Pegasus. This can be defined. But the technical answer to it is there are P lists. We can say the process lists. which are present into the victim's iPhone. And there are different type of so you can just Google Amnesty International forensic report for Pegasus, and you can find the process list, and you have to actually check if these processes are available into the phone or not, and you can actually
Sir,
investigate that. Yes.
I have already searched in the site what you have said me, Amnesty International, and I have
Yes.
read complete details about it. It is an automated installed spyware.
Uh-huh.
While we are searching in Google, they are all saying we have to detect through MVT toolkit, mobile verified
Yes.
toolkit.
Correct. MVT, they have developed the Amnesty's team already there, and it's available on Git.
But it was
It's
showing an error, sir. That's what I am asking you. Is there any possibility to detect?
it's showing an error. So this
Hey,
is a yeah. Okay. So this what question you are asking is about the specific MVT tool. So how to use it, or specifically if you are getting some specific error, you can just email me offline. What is that error, and then we can discuss over it, because this is something a specific query you are asking. We have to look into that error, and then we can answer you on that.
okay,
And
sir.
but MVT is really a wonderful framework which they have designed to investigate such type of undetectables and sophisticated spywares. And let me tell you about Pegasus. This is not only which has occurred into this July 2021, but there is a history to it. And as you rightly said, we have gone through the detailed report. You can see the traces since 2010.
2010.
Yes. So just now I just demonstrated about the spyware. So that was again of a GUI type of interface, but I don't know about Pegasus if it is a GUI or a CLI.
Hi, sir. I would like to ask one question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sir, I would like to ask whether machine learning, whether it can be or is being used in order to automate cybersecurity related systems, either by public or private entities, in order to
Yes.
investigate any particular case. Yeah.
Yes. They are being used just like we can say machine learning, AI. These type of technologies are being used. Why? And first of all, why they are used? Because in there are type of crimes where you get, let's say, 100 hard drives for investigation. So there is no time to do this processes manually. So there you will need automation. Also, there are, like we can say, set a keyword. Okay, like we can say drugs. So that will be like automated. So wherever the drug type of keyword it is, it will automatically fetch you the results and throw it to you, or it will just create a report, and it will show this date and time this keywords was used. Then there are tools which automatically go into the social media channels and scan about if there are some rumors about specific religion, specific caste, or a specific subject, or politicians and everything. So AI and ML is really playing a very important role into all these aspects. So if you are keen about this very good question you asked, if you are keen about this, you can actually research more about such tools, which actually forensic tools which use AI and ML. Because this type of tools are not used for individual one device forensics. These are used at the enterprise levels.
Good
Sir,
evening, sir.
sorry.
Sir, I would like to ask him one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if I am
Yes.
lost my 5,000 rupees in spam callers, like I want 1 lakh rupees, but you will pay 5,000 rupees. I will get the 1 lakh rupees. That spam callers, how to track, sir?
Okay. So first of all, you can use IP logger like apps where you can send them link, and if once they click, the people are very smart. Very rare people click on such type of links. And the other part is to get out the CDR, that is call data records. That's again, but that is not something which you can do. You have to inform the local authority, police authorities. After lodging an FIR, if they feel there is a requirement, they will get out the CDR. From there, they will get the cell ID, and from the cell ID, they can get the latitude and longitude, and it can be traced. And even if you get the IP address, also you have to go to the police only, because at that time that IP to whom it was allocated, that the service provider will only be able to tell you. So these are the ways how you can basically trace back there. But
Sir,
I'll
that
tell you.
last amount we will recover, sir.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
At the I lost 5,000 rupees. That spam callers, it recover or not?
That's what my next answer was. So even if you trace back that, and so they are sitting in some remote area. So I'll refer to we can say a film which is already published on Netflix named as Jamtara. So that is what the fact behind it is, and it is not a single person who is doing it. There are gangs basically who are doing it, influenced by we can say local politicians and local people there. And even if you talk about a 5,000 rupees scam, if you go to police station and tell them, they will not put so much of effort doing it. But if you group that case, and
Yes.
it may be five, yeah, it is not only 5,000. There are crores of rupees which are basically looted every day from laymen and people who are not aware of such type of scams. So you just cannot go and recover that 5,000 rupees. That is not possible
Okay,
in
sir.
any case.
Sir, I have a question. Sir,
Yes,
how
yes.
we can backtrack if we got hacked?
If we have, sorry, I didn't get your question.
Sir, how we can backtrack if we got hacked? How we find
How?
traces and how find the person behind that?
So when we talk about finding the traces of a hack, we have to actually look at the processes which are being used. We have to look about the in case of Windows hack, if you look at the processes using that the process IDs and everything. Secondly, you have to monitor the network. If the network is throwing data to a specific API, to a specific interface, you have to check the URLs. You have to again, if that URLs or the domain to on whose name it is registered, obviously that doesn't requires any type of KYC to do register such type of domains or servers, so that information also can be faked, but at least you will come to know like which type of servers this data is being pulled off, and where it is going by using network monitoring tools, and you can look after it. So the latest example of Pegasus, they investigated using MVT and everything. The data was being thrown to Amazon, some of the servers of Amazon, like which is AWS. Data was thrown to some of the servers of DigitalOcean, and the servers, the complete count of servers was more than 200, and three of them were set up in India. So this is how basically the investigators look at.
Sir, one more small question I have.
Correct.
Like, if you could please enlighten us on current trends which are being used or you might have come across for the cases of cyberbullying for influencing any particular victim, or if it can be used for by uh, government agencies. I mean, cyberbullying over the calls, normal calls.
Mhm. So over the normal calls, when you say, so they are actually not normal calls; they are VoIP calls. So they keep on switching their numbers, they keep on jumping their numbers, they have SIM card readers, they and they call via VoIP so that they cannot be traced back. So first of all, we feel like we get numbers on Truecaller like they are spam, fraud, and everything. But there are applications which they use for callings. There are applications which they use for masking their IPs, or they use proxy type of techniques, and then they call you. So through callings also, if you go to trace back the number, as the previous question I rightly mentioned, that even if you get down the CDR, you will get the IP address and not the number, or we can say the location. So police is also surprised in some of the cases when they get the call data records. They actually don't get the number; they get the IP address. And if that IP address is also masked, or if that IP address is also we can say a proxy IP, then you actually cannot do anything. So in the case of this type of calls, cyberbullying calls, they are not actually using phone numbers nowadays. The current trend is they are using VoIP system to make the call. Then they also can call you from your own number, where you will be surprised, okay, or your friend's number. But actually, there are websites like Crazy Call, or there are apps like Crazy Call which use this type of technology, and they charge you per minute some 15 rupees or 20 rupees for such type of calls, including voice modulation techniques. Like you can get a voice of a small kid, or a aged kid, or a woman, or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sir, we sometimes I received SMS which said if any person comes to you for the installation of mobile tower without permission or without proper investigation, please do not allow them. That was one thing that I observed. And another thing, I mean, I searched on the internet. Sometimes stegnography is also used to either to influence or to communicate a particular message for that particular person or a group of people. So,
Correct.
like, so how one should, proceed when there is a very little chance facing such kind of system, which is completely kind of, and matlab, we cannot find any particular proof. Instead, we ourselves might get, trapped, or any
Yeah.
particular person will get trapped.
Yeah, so if you talk about layman, so layman cannot actually find that the message which has been sent over is done sent using steganography type of technique, that somebody has binded something over the image, and that is actually a message, or something like that. They I have to go to forensic investigators, or techies like you guys, and find this thing. Talking about the mobile tower, if somebody is coming and asking you, and everything, that is actually a thing where, because they may set up something like a VoIP type of setup, or a network extender type of setup, where using the cell IDs, they may pretend to be at your location and sit at some other location and do the frauds. So that is the techniques are used to mislead the law enforcement agencies, because till the time the law enforcement agencies reach at the original destination, they go via you, because it is nearby, basically, or the tower is whatever it is set at your place. So that is for, again, misleading the investigative agencies.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, how to find any person IP, sir? IP for IP location.
IP location is you can use tools like IP logger, which you can find it easily on Google Play Store.
Sir,
What's
IP
there?
logger. Why we are sending an IP logger link for anyone? It is showing their picture like their logo, sir. IP logger logo is appearing for that person.
No, I did not get your question then.
Sir,
Can you
I,
just
I,
repeat one more time?
I have sent a link using IP logger, sir. The person is
Correct.
receiving that link, but it's showing their logo, IP logger logo.
Mm.
While seeing that, they will
So
not open, no, sir.
exactly. So, but you can see there are multiple options. You can actually search something which is interest of that person. Like if you want to send the link to a victim who is fond of cars or automobiles, you can just search on Google and take that URL and paste it into IP logger and create a URL. Don't send IP logger URL because that and also there are two three options into it. So one is you can actually search about that URL itself says IP logger, but second is it is 2.no. So and so, but that doesn't relate, or that doesn't we can say creates a doubt that this is a tracking or tracing type of link, and that is embedded with the link which you have copied and pasted from Google from of a car, or of any type of automobile or any type of interest specific link, and you can send it over. So there are three options when you go to IP logger.
More questions?
All right.
Can you share your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah. So you can search me on like I'm just not getting the option for chat, so I could share
And the
my
bottom right.
Hello, sir.
Cisco. I'm just not acquainted to. Yes. So okay, I got it. So I am not having that permission to send. So the host can allow me and I can send it. So our host is having all my details. You can take it from the host. Or you can. So you can search me on LinkedIn, my Nikhil Mahadeshwar, and you can search me on YouTube. Also, I have some videos uploaded. Instagram, I am there. Twitter, Facebook.
Sir, can you repeat your name once again, sir?
Nikhil Mahadeshwar, Nikhil Nikhil Mahadeshwar, Mahadeshwar.
Hello, sir.
And you can email me if you have any specific queries, like one of the people, participant told he has some query in operating the query in MVT using MVT tool, mobile verification toolkit and everything. So you can email me at me@nikhilmahadeshwar.com. That's my email ID. Okay. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable presence. And I hope so. The knowledge shared by you today will help each one of us in our coming future. Thank you, sir, for your efforts.
Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best, all the participants, and I wish Saurabh like he all the best. He is doing a very good job availing all this. We can say audience to participation into such type of initiatives and upgrade their knowledge. So it is now we are moving towards this digital India, but what about digital secured India? So people like Saurabh and all the other his team members and organizers are actually putting efforts to make this digital secured India a successful project. That's what I can say. And as a responsible citizen of the country, you should be responsible netizen also. So all this internet and technology, we should use it responsibly. So thank you very much again, everyone, on this channel, and thank you very much for your time. Okay, thank you.